Sometimes it's not the silence that breaks a man, it's the words. The ones that come from someone he trusted, someone he thought would never say them. Words have a strange power. They can heal, or they can burn everything to the ground. And when a man hears certain words from a woman he loves, something inside him changes forever. Men don't show it much. We don't cry in the open or scream into the night. We just go quiet. Because when a woman says something that cuts deep, we feel it in our bones. It's not about pride. It's about betrayal of peace. The peace we thought we had with her. A man can forgive mistakes. He can forgive anger, and even the moments when love slips into argument. But there are phrases, cold, sharp, and careless, that tear through a man's respect, his self-worth, his sense of being seen. And once those words are spoken, something pure dies. You see, love for a man is built on quiet loyalty. He doesn't need much, just truth, respect, and a sense that he matters. But when those are shattered by words that show contempt or humiliation, forgiveness doesn't fix it. It just hides the wound until it turns into silence. There's a moment in every man's life when he realizes that not all love is safe. Some love drains you, questions you, belittles you, until you start doubting your own strength. And the saddest part is, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, through words. Words spoken in frustration, sarcasm, or cruelty. When a woman says something that cuts through your confidence, that mocks your effort, or compares you to someone else, it's not just a bad day, it's a sign of a lost respect, and a relationship without respect is just a slow funeral for both hearts. There's a story of a man, strong, kind, never loud. He gave his all to someone who said she wanted him, but over time she started using words like weapons. You're not enough. You never do anything right. I wish you were more like him. She didn't realize that every word was killing something sacred inside him. His will to try. He stayed. Because men are taught to fix things, to hold on, to not quit. But one day, he looked at her and didn't feel love anymore. He just felt empty. That's the day he walked away. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in silence. Because silence is the only answer to disrespect. A man can rebuild his life after heartbreak, but he should never rebuild it with someone who broke him on purpose. There's no courage in forgiving cruelty disguised as honesty. When words become daggers, forgiveness is not healing, it's self-destruction. The truth is, men don't want perfection. They just want peace, a place where their effort is seen, their silence is respected, and their love isn't taken for weakness. But when a woman uses her words to make a man feel small, she's not just losing his attention, she's losing his soul. And once a man's soul turns cold, no apology can bring it back. You can't pour warmth into a heart that's been frozen by repeated disrespect. You can't expect loyalty from a man who's been mocked for giving it. So, to every man listening, remember this. The way she speaks to you tells you how she sees you. When love turns into judgment and care turns into contempt, no amount of effort will change her words. You deserve to be spoken to with grace. You deserve someone who defends you in public and corrects you in private. Someone who knows that her words are not just sounds. They are seeds that either grow love or grow distance. Never forgive the words that destroy your peace, because peace is not a luxury. It's your foundation. And a man without peace cannot build anything. Not love, not trust, not a future. Part 2. There's a strange thing about words. Once they're said, they can't be unsaid. You can erase a message, delete a text, or block a number, but your heart remembers. It remembers the tone, the silence that followed, and the way it made you question yourself. Every man carries memories of moments when he wished he'd spoken up, when he let something slide that didn't feel right. Maybe she said something in anger, something that made him feel small, mocked, or unworthy. And he told himself, it's fine, she didn't mean it. But deep down, he knew she did. Men forgive too quickly because they don't want to lose what they love. But sometimes, what you're holding on to is exactly what's holding you down. There's nothing noble about suffering quietly for someone who doesn't value your silence. You can love someone deeply and still walk away with dignity. Because love without respect is like building a home on sand. It looks strong until the storm comes. And when it does, the words she used against you will echo louder than her apologies. Imagine this: a man who spends years trying to be better, to do better, to make her happy. Every time she's upset, he listens. Every time she's silent, he waits. Every time she's cold, he blames himself. Until one day he realizes, no matter what he does, her words always find a way to hurt him. That's the day he stops trying. Not because he's weak, but because he's finally awake. You can't keep loving someone who uses your loyalty as leverage. You can't keep forgiving someone who doesn't care that their words break you. At some point, forgiveness stops being kindness. It becomes permission. When she says something that shows contempt, when she disrespects you in front of others, when she throws your pain back at you, that's not love speaking. That's ego, anger, or control. And none of those deserve your forgiveness. The man who learns to walk away doesn't lose, he rises. Because strength isn't in staying through pain, it's in choosing peace over chaos. It's in saying, I love you, but I love my dignity more. Real love doesn't humiliate. It doesn't mock or belittle. It protects. It teaches. It speaks truth without cruelty. If her words make you question your worth, that's not love, that's erosion. And if you keep forgiving what breaks you, you'll eventually forget who you were before her. So don't chase someone who doesn't guard her words around you. Because if she truly loves you, she'll protect your heart even when she's angry. She'll argue yes, but she'll never aim to destroy. She'll never use your insecurities as weapons. Men, remember, you are not defined by what she says in anger. You're defined by how you choose to respond to it. You can stay and lose yourself, or you can walk away and find peace again. You can either explain your worth endlessly, or leave and let your silence speak for you. Forgiveness has its place, but not when it costs your self-respect. Some phrases should never be forgiven, not because you're petty, but because you value your peace more than her excuses. In time, you'll realize that walking away from someone who disrespects you isn't cold. It's wise. It's self-preservation. It's choosing a life where your heart isn't constantly on trial. The man who learns when not to forgive becomes unshakable. He moves differently. He speaks less, observes more. He knows his worth and doesn't trade it for temporary affection. He understands that real strength isn't loud. It's calm, silent, and full of self-control. And one day, you'll meet someone who speaks to you differently. She won't use words to win arguments. She'll use them to build bridges. She won't try to make you feel small. She'll remind you of how capable you are. She won't say things you can't forgive, because she'll love you too much to risk losing your respect. Until then, protect your heart, guard your peace, and remember, forgiveness is not the same as forgetting. Some words should teach you, not trap you. Some endings are not failures, they are freedom. Because at the end of it all, every man deserves a love that feels safe, not a love that makes him afraid of the next sentence. You know, in the end, it's not about anger or revenge. It's about clarity. About finally understanding that not every person you love is meant to walk with you all the way. Some are only meant to teach you where your limits should be. And those limits are drawn by the words you can no longer allow. Forgiving cruel words doesn't make you noble. It just tells the world you're willing to be broken twice. And a man who keeps letting his peace be destroyed in the name of love will never know what real peace feels like. There's nothing heroic about staying where you're disrespected. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away quietly, without hate, without a speech, just with your head high and your soul clean. Because a man's silence after disrespect isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It means he's learned that arguments don't heal wounds made by words. Distance does, time does, and self-respect does. When you leave behind someone who hurt you with words they should have never said, you don't lose love, you find yourself again. You remember the man you were before you started doubting everything about your worth. You remember how it felt to wake up without the weight of constant judgment. You remember peace. One day, when you're standing on your own 2 feet, stronger, calmer, wiser, you'll look back and realize that those harsh words weren't a curse. They were a compass. They showed you what kind of love you would never accept again. They taught you the most important lesson a man can learn, that not everyone who says "I love you" truly means it in the way you deserve. So forgive life for the pain, but not the person who kept delivering it. Forgive yourself for staying too long, but not for walking away. Because leaving is not failure, it's freedom. And someday, when you meet the right woman, the one who listens, who speaks softly even in disagreement, who guards your heart like it's her own, you'll understand why it never worked before. You'll see that love is not supposed to test your strength every day. It's supposed to be your rest after the battle. She'll speak to you in ways that heal, not harm. She'll use her words to lift you, not lower you. She'll know that respect is not something you demand. It's something you earn and protect. And you'll never settle for less again. Because once a man learns what peace feels like, he never trades it for pain. So remember this, brother. When her words start sounding like weapons, it's time to guard your soul. Not with walls, but with wisdom. Let her go in silence, and let yourself grow in strength. Because real love doesn't hurt your spirit, and it honors it. And the moment you choose peace over punishment, you've already won.